Hi everybody, Suzanne Lyons here and welcome back. This is tip number 10 on my series on film funding. How fun is that? It doesn't get any more fun than that. I love this topic. I could go on forever about this topic. For those of you who know me, you know I could go on forever. I do go on. Anyways, film funding is great fun. In my book, I've talked about 14 different ways of looking to raise your film. I know there's tons of different ways out there. In this particular series, I've decided to kind of narrow it down to 12. And I've had some great people come to join me. As you know, you met David last week, which was fantastic, where we talked about the importance of looking for common ground, for your investors, and how that can make a difference in terms of bringing investors on board and getting them excited about the things that that you're doing for your film and how it kind of matches up with something that's happening in their life or their community or whatever. So that was great fun. I've also had some other great speakers. As you know, Anne-Marie Gillen was in, and then Liz Fees, and it's been wonderful. People have been so gracious and generous coming in and sharing their knowledge and expertise with us in terms of, raising money for your film. So I hope you've enjoyed that as much as I have. What this is about, this number 10, tip number 10 today, is being prepared. And this was something that I learned. I was at a Women in Film event in Toronto. I had won a competition last year, and I was up there in Toronto, and one of the people who was speaking, his name, and I pronounce it terribly, I'm sure, is Justin Trivgarn, and he was delightful. British speakers from London, and very delightful. And what he was sharing about was how he had raised the money for his film. And what he did is he created his trailer, which was quite brilliant, I have to say. He was very innovative in ways that he was able to do for a very low budget, very, very low budget, his trailer. And he put his trailer on everything he had, his computer and his iPhone and everywhere. In fact, I shared the story in my book on indie film producing. I actually had him type it up so I wouldn't have to share it, the story, and do terrible justice to his story. I had him type it, and it was fantastic. And he's kind of like me. He writes in the way that I write, is that, I'm not Shakespeare by any stretch of the imagination, so my book is kind of done in a way that I'm teaching, like I'm talking to you right now, and that's how Justin kind of shared his story. So it's very fun, actually. So look for that in the book. And what he talked about was being prepared. It's kind of his motto, maybe like the Boy Scouts, that being prepared. But it served him very, very well, because one of the places he put this trailer was on his iPhone. And he would share that with everybody. He would tell everybody, here's what I'm doing, here's my trailer. And he went to a party. It was his brother's birthday party. He shared with me. And there was a friend. He was just chatting with some people at the party. Some he knew, some he didn't. And I guess, he was sharing a little bit about the excitement of making this movie and this trailer, and he couldn't wait to, raise the money to make his sci-fi film, actually low-budget sci-fi film. And one of the guys there in the group that he was sharing with said, "Oh, well, tell me a little bit more about it." He said, "Oh, I'll do better than that. I can show you." So he brought out the iPhone, showed him the trailer right there on the spot, and the man said, "Do you have an investor yet? And any executive producer on board that you're working with?" And Justin said, "No, actually, not yet." And he said, "Good, because I'm the guy." And then, of course, they worked out a deal over the next couple of months and started working together, and so on and so on. And the rest is history. He's got his great sci-fi movie. And I just was so impressed with the way he shared the story. But it's not like it happened by accident. He really, yes, of course, this was great that this guy was at this party. But, these things are never by accident. The fact that he was prepared and he had the trailer on his iPhone and had it at the ready, had it right there to show anybody that was interested. That, to me, that's some planning that took place, in other words. So that's one of the things that I wanted to add to my tips. It wasn't in my original newsletter. I do a newsletter. In my very first newsletter, almost 3 years ago, I talked about 10 tips to fundraising, and that wasn't part of it. And that's only something that I learned when I was listening to Justin, and I just thought it was brilliant, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. So being prepared, what are some things that you can do like that can have you really at the ready when you're in that situation where you can, show your trailer or have something available visually to show somebody that could, get them excited or interested in possibly being an investor in your film. So that's it for today. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I think it's brilliant, actually. And that was tip number 10. And I will see you next Friday for tip number 11. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Once again, Suzanne Lyons, thanks for joining me.